Hello, all you wonderful people. What is up? Welcome to another edition of Polarized Perspectives. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And boy, the United States has had quite an eventful past several days. It all started on Friday, February 28th, the last day of the month of February, when President Trump hosted Ukrainian President Zelensky at the White House to discuss matters relating to the war going on in Ukraine, ensuring our alliance and making sure that we can help Ukraine end the war quicker. And also, there was a mineral rights agreement that both sides wanted to agree on. And in the middle of those discussions, they turned heated rather quickly. So both sides thought it more prudent to just end the talk right there and just move on, hopefully return to a matter of peace later. Zelensky has reinforced the notion that he is looking for peace. He wants the war to end in Ukraine. He wants his people to live freely and peacefully. And I believe that's what we all want as our allies and friends to Ukraine. Things also got very interesting in President Trump's address to a joint session of Congress on March 4th, just yesterday at the time that I'm recording this. And it was unlike anything I had ever seen or heard before, from either a joint session of Congress speech to any type of State of the Union type speech. I have never seen or heard anything like this. Very early on, Texas Representative Al Green interrupted the address as the president was speaking and was subsequently ejected from the hall after breaking decorum like that. And as such, let me also pull up this photo as well during the altercation. This is Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina, among others there in the Republican caucus on their side of the hall, shouting back at Green. And I'm just going to be honest, this does not look good for either party. Certainly, both sides have the right to tell their own story, to say why their narratives and their policies are right for the American public. This is not the forum to do so. And here's what I'll say. If you agree with Trump, okay. If you disagree with Trump, okay. It doesn't really matter, but there is a decorum that needs to be met in this hall. It's very disrespectful. And to be completely honest, both parties are in the wrong here, in my opinion. This was just one big spectacle. Neither side should be proud of the way this played out. I do assign blame to both parties in this regard. This was just bad for the country. Neither side needs to be shouting like this in the hall. If they want to make comments to reporters afterward, if they want to hold civil debate afterward, that's fine. This is definitely not the place for that. Another key highlight from the address was mentioning Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., and his newly formed commission in tackling issues such as chronic disease, illness, and the health of people in our nation, particularly younger children. The president alluded to how RFK Jr. and his team are all tasked with finding the root causes for this to determine what exactly is going on. So we will see what comes out of this. We will see what type of metrics are used and what their conclusions are in terms of what the root causes are and where to go from there. So we will see what comes out of that. On another note, this is again something I don't really have a picture of to show. I wish I did. Definitely go watch this part of the video if you have not already from the address. 13-year-old DJ Daniel, who is a brain cancer survivor. I cannot stress this enough. It was definitely very emotional. You get a sentimental feeling, just thinking about it, and I cannot stress it enough. 13-year-old DJ Daniel, brain cancer survivor. He was recognized at the address. He had always wanted to be a police officer. And go back and watch the video from the address, this part. He was recognized last night as an honorary Secret Service agent. He received the honorary badge, um, and he hugged the guy, the Secret Service um, agent who handed him his honorary badge. What just a cool moment for him. And again, it's just very sentimental, just amazing for him. So definitely go watch that if you have not watched that part yet. Definitely go ahead. I cannot stress that enough. And lastly, from the address, this is Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And I tell you, what in God's green earth is going on with his ears? I mean, I'm sure it's just the camera angle or something. I'm not really sure what's going on. But as the president might say, little Marco got big ears. On a more serious note, though, and seriously speaking, this was when the camera panned over to him after he was mentioned for his ongoing matters of diplomacy related to the Panama Canal. And when we talk about a Secretary of State's job, there are a whole slew of things that they must do when it comes to diplomacy and handling international affairs. Another example, which was not directly mentioned during the address, but would fall under this umbrella, would be the peace talks in Ukraine, bringing both sides to the table to talk about peace, both Ukraine and Russia, so that way we can bring about peace in the region. And so that's what a Secretary of State does with matters of diplomacy, just bringing all sides to the table to talk, for example. And of course, there's so many other things, but that was just one example. So we will see in the coming weeks and months ahead how all these matters of diplomacy are handled. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you gained a lot of useful information out of it. If you did, please do me the biggest of favors. Smash that like button, please, on this video. Please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell for notifications. That way you know when I either go live, release a new short, upload a new video, all that fun stuff. And I hope to see you again in the next one. Thank you all.